What type of person are you, and how does that affect your leadership style and your teamwork? I'll explain that in this video. Hello, I'm Stephen Goldberg of Optimus Performance, bringing you practical tips on leadership, team development, and employee performance in the workplace. I've been talking in my previous videos and explaining about types of people. And this is really at the core of who you are, and it drives certain attributes, certain challenges, as well as leadership style and the way you work within a team. So I'm going to explain that a little bit more. You can go back to my previous videos to learn more about the approach to types of people. And I'm also launching some free workshops to help you to discover what type you are and how that influences your view of the world, your behaviors, and your relationships as well. It's a very powerful tool that I found very useful for myself and have been putting that learning into practice for many years. So essentially, there's 6 classic types. I have them up here. I'm not going to go into detail now. I want to focus on a certain component of this, which really drives leadership style and teamwork. And that's the component of passive or active, and negative or positive. So depending on which type you are, you will either be, for example, the emissive body, which is what we call the body or instinctive intellect or brain, is passive and positive, versus active and negative for the receptive body. The emissive heart is passive and positive. The receptive heart is passive and negative. The emissive mind is active and negative, and the receptive mind is active and positive. So what does that mean, these words? Let me just bring them up here on this page. So passive versus active. So a passive type is more content and appreciative of the way things are. They don't necessarily want to change things for the sake of changing them. There's no need to shake things up. The active type has that inner drive to want to shake things up. Everything can be better, and they're always looking for ways to improve. So passive types may see the active types as being disruptive. Why are they always wanting to change things? And the active types may see the passive types the opposite way. Why are they so content with the status quo as keeping things the way they are? So there's that dichotomy, that I don't even know the word, but that sort of conflict in perceptions, in viewpoints, and then that can cause some misunderstanding, some conflict. Now, the other part of that is positive and negative. So it's kind of like being an optimist or a pessimist. The positive types see the glass half full, the negative types see the glass more half empty. So if you're an active and negative type, then you always want to change things, and you're always looking at what's wrong. There's only actually one type that's active and positive. So they want to change things, but they do so by also considering what's working well. So they don't come across as so forceful as perhaps an active and negative type. And the active negative type the approach to change would be different, because if you're the body type, or intellect, then you'll come across as more forceful physically, more taking charge. And the other active negative type is expressed through ideas, not through physicality, but more through, forcing their ideas. And this both can be perceived as very abrasive, either by team members or as a subordinate or a direct report to the leader. So if the leader is an active negative type and is always pointing out what's not working well and wanting to change it, a passive negative type could find that very aggressive, as well as a passive positive type could also feel the boss is being too aggressive, and why can't he just be happy with the way things are, because I am, and I don't want to disrupt things for me and my team members. I want things to always go smoothly. So the makeup of passive versus active and positive versus negative does drive those differences in leadership style, and also in how we work with others and how we're perceived by others as well. So that's all to say that knowing this can be a very powerful tool, combined with, of course, the learning about the classic types. But this is part of the learning. And as I mentioned, I'm going to provide a training resource free to help people learn about their type, understand themselves. And there's also a component of goal setting in there where each type has a motivation and a fear. And when that fear clicks in, it causes some behaviors that others see as negative and can be seen as also negative by oneself. And the way to overcome those fears is through a process of goal setting and working on it, and actually by becoming better balanced, using all three brains or intelligences. But that takes some awareness. So I'm going to walk through that. I feel the best way to teach this is in a workshop. I've never done this online before, but I'm going to launch it and see if people are interested. I'll continue it and see if it can work well on using a platform like Zoom. I've done this. This is actually integrated into our leadership and team development workshops that I've done for years, but I want to see if I could offer this part of it to the public for free and do it online. So there'll be a link in the description of the video to sign up for that. Check out, as I mentioned, the previous videos where I started talking about the types of people approach. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to get news of new videos. Turn on the notification bell so you will get advised of those new videos. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again soon.